Testing, testing. Who do we have in the building? It's Friday Night Live. I don't know if I can say that. Can I say that? Friday Night Live. We Friday Night Live. Hopefully soon we have Friday Night Lights back. Football season. There's some big moves made, man. I know my cousin's a huge Cowboy fan. They lost some key pieces. So, y'all have any Cowboy fans out there, man? Check on them. They may be hurting a little bit right now. Shout out to all of them in Texas. Some more big moves made. But we're not going to get into all that, man. This ain't the sports section. We have a really good guest tonight, man. This is one of my brothers, one of my fellow leaders. But before I go into that, I wanna talk about March, man. You know, sometimes we forget to be consistent, and one of the things that I want to make a point of doing is highlighting, special observances that we have. And one of the observances that we should all be celebrating is Women's History Month. Why would we want to celebrate and observe Women's History Month? Well, I'm sure that it's due to a woman that all of us are here. So we should be observing the great and wonderful things that they have done, because we all have a grandmother or somebody who took care of us and did some great things for us. So Women's History Month, right? Women's History Month had its origins as a national celebration in 1981 when Congress passed Publication L 97-28, which authorized and requested the president to proclaim the week beginning March 7, 1982 as Women's History Week. Throughout the next 5 years, Congress continued to pass joint resolutions designating a week in March as Women's History Week. In 1987, after being petitioned by the National Women's History Project, Congress passed Publication L 100-9, which designated the month of March 1987 as Women's History Month. Between 1988 and 1994, Congress passed additional resolutions requesting and authorizing the president to proclaim March of each year as Women's History Month. Since 1995, presidents have issued a series of annual proclamations designating the month of March as Women's History Month. These proclamations celebrate the contributions women have made to the United States and recognize the specific achievements women have made over the course of American history in a variety of fields. Now, in the military, we do celebrate and we recognize and we observe. And this year, the theme is providing healing and promoting hope. So the 2022 Women History theme, providing healing and promoting hope, is both a tribute to the ceaseless work of caregivers and the frontline workers during this ongoing pandemic, and also a recognition of the thousands of ways that women of all cultures have provided both healing and hope throughout history. So, if y'all have the chance, I know you know women, some woman out there, hey man, give them a high five, give them a pound, because it's Women's History Month. Women are awesome. I love my mom, my wife, my grandma, all of my aunties, all my teachers that's been out there doing great and wonderful things, all of my leaders, because I've had, all people, key people in all parts of my life that have been women. Men too, but we ain't celebrating men right now. This is Women's History Month. So shout out to all of you guys. We appreciate everything you guys do. And hey, learn something about Women's History Month. It's easy. Google and pull some stuff up. And daughters, absolutely. You're right, Jewel Junkie. Shout out to the Jewel Junkie with the slide right up right now. Well, they add style to your smile. $5 at a time. Shout out to my sponsor who don't let me forget. That's right. Shout out to the daughters that's bringing grandbabies into this world pretty soon. Maybe on my birthday. I don't know. Who knows? Shout out to my daughter. Women's History Month. Doing great things. Let me tell y'all about this young person who, as a parent, you worry sometimes. And this girl, man, she's in the healthcare field and she love it. And I don't know how and why where she got it from, but shout out to her, man. When COVID hit, she was there helping with the mental health areas, helping with kids and youth with issues. So, yeah, I'm glad this is Women's History Month. Sometimes we know what people do, but we don't highlight it. So, shout out to Deasia Gifford and Anaja Gifford too. Love y'all. And shout out to Chicken Nugget. Anyways, yo, we are transitioning, man. Tonight we got one of my brothers in the building tonight, man. Like I said, special guy, his fellow leader, and like I said, he's my brother, and I love him. And he took the opportunity and the time. He's a busy man, and he's also a man of wisdom that he's gonna drop something on us. So let me pull him up real quick, Mr. Matthew Johnson. Look at him studying or pretending to study. Which one is it? Let's see. What's going on, sir?
Hey, what's going on, brother?
How you doing?
I am doing great today. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful. We seen you looking studious over there. Was it just preparing?
NCO Guide 7-22.7. This is the new one I just got off of Amazon. My old one has way too many notes in it.
I'm sure it does. You probably wrote more than they wrote in there.
Not quite that much, but yeah. Opinions on a lot of things.
Right at it, right?
Yep.
All right, so check it out, man. What you got to say about Women's History Month? I know you're a senior leader. Talk to us about Women's History Month, man.
Women's History Month. Well, one thing that we are doing. Well, first of all, I have to start off with, my wife is in the Air Force.
Yes.
She misses Women's History Month by 1 month, unfortunately. She pins Master Sergeant next month.
Oh, man. Still, congratulations to her.
Outstanding leader. I have to say, watching my wife do what it is that she does and hearing her stories brings me back to the first sergeant days back in Baumholder going, yeah, I remember those things. Yeah. Same lessons, and luckily enough, we've got a wonderful communication there that sometimes she even listens to me. So, Women's History Month, let's see. So, one of the most important things that I think we have done as an Army in the last, I guess it was 2016, so don't make me do public math here, 6 years, is Athena Thriving. And that was the program that the Army put in place that said every job, every location, every position is open and available to female soldiers.
Absolutely.
The upside to that is the opportunity is there. The downside to that is the cultural shift is still happening.
Right.
And it requires an absolute cultural shift, in my opinion. And I think in reality, actually, we still have those microaggressions that people don't even think about being microaggressions. One of the books that I was actually reading, I think I tried to get you to read it. I think you and Joe both. Athena Rising is about how and why men should mentor women, not just in the military, but it was written by a Navy psychologist.
Okay.
So the idea is those things that men would do, male leaders would do to try and keep themselves out of trouble, not spending time with females, not closing the door, not doing that one-on-one. What that does is it alienates and it some of those opportunities, when really all it comes down to is we've just got to make sure that everybody's doing the right thing. Mm-hmm. If you're doing the right thing, rumors are going to be rumors all the time, no matter what. But you're creating better, stronger leaders when you open those doors, when you create those opportunities. So I think one of the things that we should pay attention to as senior leaders during Women's History Month is, are we mentoring our female soldiers, and not just senior female soldiers mentoring. Yeah. I think that junior female soldiers should have to seek out those senior officers, those senior enlisted who are only female. They should say, hey, you're a good mentor. You're a respected individual in this unit or in the Army or in the community that they're in, and they should be applauded for that. It shouldn't be something that men should shy away from or think is a bad thing.
Look. You I love it. Mentor all females. Look, it should be, if we say equal opportunity, and you hit it on the head, man, it's we say it, but a lot of male service members, especially the ones that's in our era, they're kind of afraid of it.
Yes,
You know,
I think that's what it comes down to.
yeah, I had a you may know him. He was a medic. I'm not gonna drop his name on here, but he came from a all combat arms unit. You know, as combat medics, you know, you guys are right there embedded with those type of units. You know,
Yep.
and he came to me when we were at San Antonio for AIT Platoon Sergeant World, and he had all these females in his unit, and he was like, I don't know what to do. What do I do? You leave them, fool. What are you talking about? What do you do? The same way you chop them dudes up, you chop them females up, because guess what? They could end up in one of those units, and they're gonna have to execute just like that male. So, as expected, you gave us more than I was expecting. So
I gotta try.
that's, hey man, you own it, man. So let's go backwards. Who
Yes.
are you? Where are you from? And what do you do?
I am Matt Johnson, a Master Sergeant in the United States Army. Ooh, go me. I am from Western New York, western side of the state, all the way on the other side of the state from the city. And right now I am the Senior Enlisted Advisor for the 10th Field Hospital in Fort Carson, Colorado.
Yeah, man. So good old Colorado. How's the weather over there?
Depends. What time of day is it?
It's
We-
it should be,
We had snow Tuesday and Wednesday, and it's in the 50s today. So
oh my god, man. So 50s, that's warm for y'all then.
now, yeah. And we were down in the single digits over the weekend, and last week it was beautiful. So, yeah, it's these mountains, man. They're gorgeous, but let me tell you, they affect the weather.
Big time, man. Well, look, oh Duke. So it's Sergeant Major Johnson now. Duke 093.
Hopefully soon.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. We all pushing for you, brother. You're gonna get there. Absolutely. Absolutely. Jill Junkie says, is that Mr. Johnson, the great guy who created that awesome sword? Yes, it is. Look, hey, brother. Hey, break down the sword. The I forget what's the actual term for it. Break down the swords that we was giving out, man.
Okay, so the wooden sword, it's got a whole bunch of different names that it went by. We stuck with Gladius.
Gladius, yes.
The idea behind the wooden sword is it's the same shape as the sword that the gladiators in the Roman arenas would use. And then when they reached a certain point, either of fame or they had done enough or they had decided that, yes, this is the end for me, and it was agreed upon that they were retiring, they were relieved from gladiatorial duties. I'm sure I messed that word up.
Sounds good to me.
They became sick. They were gifted a wooden gladius, a wooden sword. And I'm sure someone's listening saying, hey, there's another name for that. I know there is. I can't think of what it is. But that is what we did up there in Baumholder for those lucky enough to leave the first sergeant positions under, honorable means. Because if ever there were a position in the Army that I think would be on par with gladiators, it is first sergeants. We're fighting all the time, trying to keep the soldiers in line, trying to take care of the soldiers, trying to keep higher command in line, trying to take care of higher command. It's a battle from every side, and the only battle buddies you have during that time are the other gladiators, those other first sergeants.
Absolutely, bro. Yes, absolutely. And I likened it to we were on the wall. We were protecting them from the night walkers.
on.
Look, Jewel Junkie said that's hecka awesome. Yes, man. It was one of those things where you don't realize how much it means until you experienced it. And we battled, and it absolutely, if it wasn't for you guys on the left and the right being able to stop in the office, or you guys, we meet in our little areas and just be like, oh my God, let me tell you, it's awesome, man. I'm so thankful that you wherever you got the idea from, you came to us and decided that's what we should do, and it was wonderful.
Believe it or not, it was our previous Sergeant Major who stood in as the Battalion Command Sergeant Major. I don't know if you want me to drop names, but I'm sure you remember him. Tall, bald, thick accent.
Thick
Good
accent.
guy. Good guy.
Yeah, he kind of made talk. Well, he didn't talk me into it, but he kind of asked me if I wanted to do Audie Murphy, and then told me I had 14 days to get ready.
Hmm.
Sounds
Yeah,
about right.
that was my introduction to Germany. As a matter of fact, I had the first. He shake my hand, say, "Hey, you're going to you're going to Sergeant Morales," and I said, "Okay, yeah, absolutely, brand new Sergeant First Class. Yeah, let's do this. When? 2 weeks from now? No, nope. I embarrass you."
Yeah, like come on, man, give me some time.
Yep.
All right, brother. So let's back it up again.
Yep.
What are your ties to the military? We know that you're actively serving right now. So, do you have family that serve? What caused you? What was your reason for coming in?
I am one of those nerds who has wanted to be a soldier since I was 5 years old. I remember every Halloween. That's what I dressed up as.
Yeah.
My father was in the Army for a time. My grandfather was in the Army for a time. Well, both of my grandfathers, actually. Many of my uncles. One of my grandmothers was in the Air Force. So very, very tight military family. I've wanted to serve for a very long time, and I've been blessed to be able to serve for 19 years.
Man, 19.
Hopefully more behind that. We'll see.
You gonna do the 30?
If my wife has anything to say about it, I will.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
So look,
yeah.
we spoke to people. We've spoken to some leaders who they're dual military, you know, and it has its challenges. But you guys have some extra challenges being dual military and different branches, man. How do you guys make that work?
Honestly, it all comes down to the branch managers really recognizing that people are people, and,
Right.
and we need all the help we can get. There's an Army married couples program, there's an Air Force married couples program, Navy, Marine, all that stuff, but there is no Armed Forces married couples program.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to it, the first one of us to get orders contacts branch and says, "Hey, what have I got available, and can we talk to the Army?" For both of the PCSs that we made, the branch managers have gone above and beyond to make that happen. As a matter of fact, the previous 68 Whiskey enlisted branch manager is now working in my hospital center as my ClinOps.
Really?
Yeah. So I knew her quite well with all the help that she had given my wife and I to get here to Colorado.
That's awesome, bro. That's awesome.
It back and forth. So when we went to Germany, it was very much the Air Force saying, you can go here. This is exactly the one place that you will go to. And the Army saying, "Hey, Germany's open. What do you want? Where do you want to go?"
Oh wow.
We got as close together as we could. And for this PCS, we contacted them from Germany. "Hey, we're both on. We're looking to come into our PCS," and the Air Force basically said, again, "Peterson, there it is. That's what you got." And the Army was like, "Well, you got 7 other places, and Carson isn't one of them, but we'll figure it out."
Yeah.
So it was really nice.
So do they try to get you within like a certain mileage, or they just be like,
Yeah, lucky us, Peterson and Carson are only like 15 minutes apart. So we actually
awesome.
just north of there. We've both got about a 30-minute drive in. We just sort of, I go west and she goes east at one point off of 25, and then there we are.
Good stuff, brother. So tell me this: which side does your baby does she lean more towards the Air Force or more towards the Army?
She better lean Air Force. I mean, but no. Let me tell you, one of the nice things that my wife brings to the table with the Air Force is the quality of life is more there in the Air Force than it is sometimes.
They do treat us treat their people.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Not that we don't.
We get fine tents that blow away in the storm.
Yes, we do. Yeah. Oh, Snowmageddon's a real thing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I wouldn't have it any other way. We wouldn't have the stories.
That's right. We've got stories.
We got stories. So, what are some of the pros and cons of your 19 years of service?
Pros, I would say, I have never. I came in at 22, so I had some job experience. I had some college experience. I had life experience. Worked on a farm for a very long time. Was a baker. I was a cook. I worked in a grocery store. I worked in a gas station. I worked in a pizza place. Just all over the place. A wide variety of things that I'd done. But in the Army, immediately right off the bat, I had never had a more personally rewarding job. Being a medic is difficult. It's always been difficult. But I don't think there is a single thing about being a medic that isn't rewarding. Yeah. We're either helping people, or we're training people to help people, or we're, training our own people to better help others. Yeah. Being a medic is selfless, and if you're doing it right, and it's the best job I've ever had. And the fact that I have been able to hold multiple leadership positions in my time, been amazing. It's more rewarding to, yep, nice, beautiful, love that.
Some Falcon Medics, shout out.
There you go. Being a leader, as a squad leader, senior medic, aid station, NCOIC, platoon sergeant, detachment sergeant, first sergeant. I've had very little ops time, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Learned a lot when I was in ops. I did. I learned a lot about the different side and the different perspective, but it wasn't, I will say, it wasn't quite as rewarding as leading soldiers.
Yeah.
Nothing that I've done has been quite that rewarding. And I think one of the cons, I have people that I graduated with in high school, and they've had the same job for 19 years. You get darn good at a job like 19, that.
Yeah.
One of the cons that I had that I've recognized here is that as soon as you get used to doing a job, you start to get really good at it, and then you move on to the next one. Yep. That's got its upsides as well, because you take new knowledge into a new job, new eyes on it, new perspective, and we thrive from that. But some days I just want to go back to being a medic.
I know that's rough for you guys, man. It's like for all of us. When you're, I don't know who termed it. I stole it from, but performance punishment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
When you performing well, they're gonna snatch you up and say, okay, you fix this problem, go fix this problem. Oh, you fix this problem, go fix this problem. And you're just, you're. It's a reward, but it's also a punishment. You have to look at it from both sides, right? Because you're having the opportunity to sharpen up the skills and rehabilitate soldiers that another leader may not have taken that opportunity and that time to do. But at the same time, you're also taking away from those leaders. If you don't give them that time to, how about put those leaders with somebody who can mentor them to do what you're doing. And talking about that, you started a program, a junior leaders program, man. Talk about your program that you started and the fundamental principle behind that program, why you started.
So we were the Viper Medics. They're still out there. Shout out to the Viper Medics.
Viper Medics, baby.
Molder, Germany.
Yes.
So it was the Viper Leader Academy. And the idea behind it was the on-the-job training that we don't necessarily get, and that preparation to become non-commissioned officers. One of the things that we do very well in the Army is in basic training, we break soldiers down from civilians to this is the standard. Here's what you will do. And then we expect that on-the-job training and that excel of growth from now I'm a basic soldier to I am learning to really embrace this to happen when they get to their duty station. The problem is sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't for too long, we have generational gaps. When you haven't had good leadership in a unit in multiple rotations, and I won't say good leadership, I'll take that back. I'll say leadership that's specifically focused on building leaders.
You say effective leadership.
Yes. Yes. You need to focus back down on that. The senior NCOs, the senior officers there in the battalion, and even in 30th Med Brigade, were behind that 100% when they saw that soldiers were not only paying attention and learning, but really thriving afterwards. we took a week and we went over the basics, drill and ceremony. Everyone laughs about drill and ceremony. There's a reason for drill and ceremony.
There's a reason. Thank you.
Yeah. And then counseling. One of the best things that I did in that class, and honestly, if I could make it just 2 whole days of only counseling and writing NCOERs and awards to an extent, I would have. But we went through practices and actually sat the soldiers down face to face with other soldiers and said, here's your problem set. I want you to put this on paper and I want you to talk through it with these soldiers. Whether they were sergeants, corporals, or specialists, when they came out of that class, I didn't have any of them say anything other than, I have learned so much about how to effectively counsel, how to lead, how to teach. And it's such a big part of being a non-commissioned officer, teaching. If we can equate being an NCO to anything in the civilian world, it is manager and teacher, and heavier on the teacher side if you're doing it right.
Right.
So I was lucky enough to bring that program over here to 627th Hospital Center.
Awesome.
And 1st Medical Brigade stood up their School of Strong Knights based on the same thing. So we've got a week of that, and then they took it a step further and they do a week of the tactical, so didactic and tactical. So it's 2 weeks.
Wow.
We are building stronger sergeants, stronger junior enlisted who are going to become sergeants, and you couldn't ask for a better thing.
That's awesome, bro. Congratulations, man. I knew it was going to take off, but wow, yeah, that's good. It's so good when it starts in one place and you can take that thing somewhere else and then spark that fire over there as well. That's so great, man.
Yep, exactly. And I was not the only brainchild on that one. I sat down with Joe quite a bit and went over that, and we bounced some things off of all of the leaders up there in Baumwolle. Hey, read through this and see what we missed.
Yeah.
I think it was like a 6 pages worth of outline, just outline, 1 or 2 lines on each topic we wanted to cover.
Yeah.
But it was growing through just that community of NCOs that we had, and that's something that we, you and I and Joe and CSMs that were up there really put together and said, hey, we're going to do NCO calls again.
Yeah. Yep.
You got to build that community from the top. You got to show the juniors, bring in the corporals and say, hey, this is man sergeant major, this is your first sergeant, here are your other senior leaders, go talk to them.
Yes.
Build that community so you trust each other, so you feel empowered to go ask for help. Man, I'd just take up your whole podcast talking your
No, man. Hey, bruh, I invited you for a reason.
Because I can talk.
Hey, no, because I know it's information, man. It's there's things that people need to hear that me and Joe and other leaders, we had the distinct pleasure of being in the leadership groups that you started and the ideas that you have. Nah, man, I'm enjoying it. In the South, I'm just marinating in the. Look, you make me want to go sign back up, man. I'm like, send me back.
Hey, I'm really good retention NCO who can call you if you'd like.
Hey, I don't think they'll take me, but I'll talk to them. and then my sponsor, the Deal Junkie, might not have it.
Got a good thing lined up.
Yes, sir. She says that's real talk. We are enjoying the conversation. And Duke says no good deed goes unpunished. Absolutely, Duke. That's facts.
Truth. But along those lines, I am rereading Extreme Ownership. That's one of the things that my wife took to her base and said, hey, we're going to read this. So they're breaking it down by chapter. So I get the distinct pleasure of going through that myself again. No good deed goes unpunished. They're talking about, I forget what chapter it is, but they're talking about the boat races and the boat captains. And boat team 2 was always winning. They were always doing great. And boat team 6 was always falling behind. I just read this earlier this morning, as a matter of fact. Really, it's tight up there. And the senior chief said, hey, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the boat captain from team 2 and we're going to put him in team 6 and vice versa. And we're going to see what happens. And that is that performance punishment. I'm going to put you who has succeeded, who have built this team, over in this team who is failing, screaming at each other, cursing and yelling. The very next race, the very next boat race, the 2 boats in the top, leaving everybody else in the proverbial dust because they were in the water, were boat team 2 and boat team 6. You took that good leader and you put him in a team that didn't have a good leader, and you said, go do your thing. and they succeeded. And they continue to succeed all throughout the remainder of that class because of that shift.
Yeah.
You know, this so many leaders have said throughout history, there are no bad teams, just bad leaders.
Yeah.
And, and maybe not even bad, maybe not even intentionally bad, just like you said, ineffective.
Thank you. You know, one of the things that I really enjoyed about our conversations is that I don't think that we ever really just pulled out the shotgun and was like, yo, this dude's a turd, right? If I can say that on TV land, I'm sure I can. If you're offended, you're welcome. Hey, and it is what it is. But you know, there's we never did. We always we presented what it was, and then we always had a conversation about how can we make it better. And that was the mindset that I really enjoyed about the brotherhood that we have, because we still do. You send us stuff all the time, and I'm like, yo, you know, Matt is at it. He's at it. And I don't know if Duke is in our group, if that's the same person that's in the group with us. Is it? Duke, are you in that leadership group with us? Or where you watching from, Duke? So Sergeant Major Johnson now. I gotta figure out who that is. But anyways, yeah, man. So one of the big things that we all have, that we champion, is creating leaders, duplicating ourselves, right? What would you give? What guidance or encouragement would you give to these young corporals that's moving up, and maybe they're in that boat 6? You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or you know, what encouragement and like words of wisdom would you give people, leaders, young leaders in that situation?
I will tie this to myself. I had some relatively ineffective leaders early on in my career, and unfortunately, I took that as I'm going to have to do this myself. I had some leaders that I couldn't trust. I had some leaders that I wouldn't trust. I had some leaders that even if I did trust them, they didn't know. And it really broke me for a long time from the idea of even asking for help. It broke me from the idea of the community of non-commissioned officers, which is why I champion it so strongly now, why we need to build this community, because I didn't have that. Yeah. For every bad leader you have, you are going to learn a myriad of things that you don't want to do.
Yes.
There's always that silver lining. But the downside is that you haven't learned anything good. And you may very well have created a bad habit for yourself by just assuming this one bad thing this leader did, I'm going to put them in this pile, and now I'm never going to go to them again.
Yeah. Everybody's
an individual. Every single day, every single person on the earth is living a different day. So that thing that leader did that didn't sit well with you doesn't make them a bad person. I mean, unless it was unethical, illegal, or immoral.
Yeah, right.
Then maybe you put them in that pile for a little while. But don't let it stop you as junior leaders from seeking out other leaders, be it peer or senior.
Yep. And don't be afraid to look. You can learn from some of your juniors too, man. You know, don't discount the junior, because smart people surround themselves with smarter people, and there's this thing that we have called talent management. Some people are just gifted in that area, and if they have a way, if they have an idea, it's like Mr. Duke Ellington, who is watching from Fort Bliss, McKinney, one of my soldier kids.
Nice.
He was one of them that was, you know, he came to me, he was like, Top, man, we've been doing this process wrong. And I'm like, okay, do tell. And he told me, and I said, okay, we're going to try it that way. 1, we save time. 2, we're doing it the way we're supposed to be doing it. What's the problem? A lot of times we send people off to school. They come back from that school, and everything that they learned in school, they end up throwing it back inside the trash because we've always done it like this.
Yep.
No, if we spend money and time and the soldiers' effort to send them to school, at least let them try to apply some of that stuff, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, man, that's awesome.
One of the best things you can hear from a junior NCO coming back from BLC, ALC, or anything. You know, I've got a couple of senior NCOs in battle staff right now, and they're going to come back and say the same thing. When they come back, they say, hey, we're doing this wrong. To all the senior leaders, shut up and listen.
Listen.
You know, if you're doing it wrong, listen.
Just say, listen, Linda. Listen, Linda. I'm not talking to you, Mom, if you're watching. Yeah. So, all right, brother, we're going to transition.
Let's do it.
All right. How do you know me?
How do I know
How
you?
you know me?
From Baumholder. You were, when I was in the SPO, the HHD First Sergeant. And I remember getting to know you, not because I ever had to go see you, but because you made the rounds. You made yourself present. You made yourself known. And it wasn't just, you know, across the road. It was down the street, and sometimes it was freezing cold, you know?
Yeah.
But and it wasn't just after meetings. But it became all those things. It became going to your office. It became, you know, after the meeting. Some of the most effective conversations I've ever had with other NCOs are the 15, 20 minutes after a meeting.
Right.
You know? But yeah, we were leaders together in Baumholder.
Look, and we sat
Lucky
on a lot
enough.
of boards, promotion boards, and
Yeah, we did. Had a lot of good laughs.
we had a lot of good laughs. Soldiers just don't know how hard it is for us to stay straight in them boards, right? We are human. We're human.
Yeah. Yep. I did at a promotion board yesterday. Yeah. Oh wow, it's only Friday. Yeah, yesterday, and same thing. I kept peeking behind the CSM's back, just like, first sergeant, shh, shh, hey, shh. we gotta keep it even keel.
Stay focused. Stay
Yeah.
focused.
Hard to do.
It is, absolutely. All right. We got permission to jump in the time machine.
All right, let's do it.
We're going back, man. If you could talk to anyone in history, who would you pick to hold a conversation with and why?
Who would I pick to hold a conversation with and why? I would. I'm going to be a little less famous on this one by a long shot. I would talk to my grandfather in his 40s.
Okay.
Because I am next month 42, and I got to tell you, there has never been a more trying time in life. And he's one of my heroes, one of my mentors, one of my role models. And hearing from him at that time, as opposed to you know, the wisdom of age that comes with, well, when I was that age, we did this. That's through the lens of time and experience.
Yeah.
I would love to hear what that success of a human being did at that time to succeed, to get to where he was, so that I could make sure that I was following in the right footsteps. Maybe impart some lessons from, you know, ages gone by.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. I like that. I like that angle. That's it's very maddish. Okay, if you could change 3 things in the world, what would they be?
I took notes on this one. So my first thing, because I grew up, I was one of those people who, when I was growing up, I didn't necessarily know I was poor, but I was very, very poor. One of those things where if one little thing goes wrong during the week, you're not having pizza and a movie on Friday with the family because you just can't afford it.
Right.
That's with 4 of us in the house. So, you know, we were pretty poor.
Right.
I would say the overwhelming economic inequality across the globe. If I were king for a day,
Yeah.
that's what I would strive towards, because while the economy has to fluctuate, you've got to have a top and a bottom. I got that. The bottom is so far from the middle,
Right.
livable, that it's ridiculous.
It's
And
ridiculous.
so many of our soldiers that come in are from that bottom economic rung, and they see the Army as the only choice, and that's, I'm glad that they choose it. I'm never been more impressed with soldiers than I am every single new day, with what they can bring to the Army, regardless of where they've come from. But that the fact that that's their only choice is problematic, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I always tell them that I don't want this to be your fallback plan, because it's not a fallback plan. But if you fall back to it, we'll take care of you.
Yep, absolutely.
And you know, prayerfully they get with the leader that cares about them. You know.
Yep, absolutely. Thing number two, I would say, especially as evidenced over the course of the last 8-10 years, infotainment. I remember distinctly listening to my grandfather when I was in my early 20s. I saw something on the news and I said, "Did you watch the news?" Trying to have an adult conversation. And he said, I haven't watched the news since Walter Cronkite said, "In my opinion." He stood up and turned off the TV.
He turned it off.
Didn't watch the news ever. Your opinion, I would have asked. I want the news.
Yeah.
We've gone downhill.
Hey, I like that. If I want your opinion, I would ask for it.
Or in a conversation. You know what I mean? But that's not what that is. That's not the news. And number three, to bring it back to the light side of a conversation, the lifespan of dogs.
Yeah.
Too short.
Yeah, man.
Sam is with us,
but babies.
He's getting older. You know.
Yeah.
It's gonna hurt.
Yeah, man. He's still running through the halls.
Oh, you know it.
Yeah.
Yep. He goes to work with me every day.
Everybody be trying to get Sam, don't they?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, he's the Mountain Medic morale dog now.
Awesome.
Yep.
I know they treat him well, man. You know, it was always a joy when you walked in. Scary at first because it was like, what is that? Oh, Sam? You got to put a bell on you, man.
He can be quiet.
And you got ninja skills, man.
Mm-hmm.
Ninja skills. All right, so you had 19 years in service, bro.
Yeah.
You potentially going to 30.
Potentially.
But if we can look forward, just take a glimpse, right?
Yep.
What you want to be when you grow up?
I would say, honestly, because of my love for it and the fact that I have a family history in it as well, I would want to be a teacher.
Really? You don't say. No, not you.
One of the things I love about teaching, though, is, and you know, I had a conversation with one of the other first sergeants during the promotion board. The quote that she used was, "Those who can't do, teach." Yes, absolutely. However, don't put a negative connotation on that.
Okay.
If you can't do a thing, teach that thing, because you will learn that thing from 17 different angles, trying to figure out how to teach it to 2 or 3 different people.
Yes.
So
yes,
the follow-on to that is those who have taught can do.
Yes, I like that. Yeah, I like that. Those are facts. I use that same mentality when I'm talking about jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, all of that stuff. They put me in a situation where I was drowning, but then they said, "Okay, teach it," and I'm like, "What?" I learned more once I learned that I had to go and teach it than I learned going through the learning process. So yeah, that makes sense. And the old McKinney says you need to be Sergeant Major of the Army. Facts.
Yeah. I don't know. I met him a few months ago, and some of my soldiers are going to meet him next week. I don't know if I've got the mental capacity to do that job. There is so much that you've got to do and be and remember, and you know, the be I've got no problem. The do, there's only so many hours in the day, but just the remembering everything. I honestly believe that I would do a disservice to that particular job. I would love to go back to bomb holder and be a battalion command sergeant major there. If I stop there, I will have met all of my life goals at that point.
I would say if you're gonna go back to bomb holder and be the battalion, then you gotta go and transition on up the brigade.
Yeah, following Sergeant Major Hunt's footsteps right there. That's right.
Man.
First sergeant major and brigade command sergeant. Way to do it.
Yeah, man. That would be, and then I'll call you up and be like, "Hey, you got a spot for a old crusty vet?"
You know it. The position will open.
Hey, man. Hey, as long as I can get the boss to sign off on that approval, and I can bring the grandbaby with me, we might be on our way. All right, brother. So, give us one of your most memorable experiences.
Sappy, but also funny.
Okay.
My first date with my wife.
Okay.
So we were in San Antonio, and it was a work function. So it wasn't really a date, but it was a date. You know, she and I were like, "Hey, this is gonna be a thing." She's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, a thing." We
Yeah.
we we went out to I think some Thousand Oaks. Anyway, one of the parks out there, and as a group, a couple of clinics together because we were working at BAMC. We said we're going to go on this hike, and I was a bit ambitious, but you know me, ambitious. Said, hey, we're going to take this 8 mile track. Is everybody okay with that? Everybody loved the idea. Let's do it, 100%, absolutely. We're down. At the 1 mile mark, everybody, but my wife and the person that she had ridden with, turned back. And I was like, this is a good sign. And you know, at mile 6, the other person that was with us was just flagging, just done, just, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. This is BS. You know, I don't know. Get me off this hill. And here was my wife just chugging right along. Like, this is beautiful today. This is wonderful. This is a great place. I love this. Very memorable. You know, we had some good pictures, had a really good time, enjoyed the outdoors, got to know each other a little bit more. And that's a wonderfully fond memory that I always look back on.
That's good, man. So y'all weeded out the extras.
Pretty early on, not even on purpose.
Not even, it was meant, man. It was written in the stars for you guys, man.
That's right.
That's awesome. Okay, I know you have a lot of these, but give us a leadership and a life lesson.
Leadership lesson. I will harken back to what I said before about everybody being different. Every single person is living a different experience, no matter how much of the day and the sameness that they've experienced with the person next to them. Their perception is their reality, which in the Army, you know, double-edged sword, us saying that, well, perception is reality. No, the rules are reality and facts are reality. I know we've done enough 15-6s. We know what reality actually is.
Yes.
But the way people experience things is different across the board. And as leaders, we need to understand that there is no cookie cutter solution for any problem, no matter how simple it might be.
Yeah.
And the second you think there is the second you need to reevaluate the way that you're handling things and care and compassion that you have for your soldiers.
Okay, give us a life lesson.
Life lesson, 2 life lessons. Another thing that I've said is just be quiet and listen. There, I'll be nice. I'll tone it down a little bit. Be quiet and listen, you know. Take the time. One of the things that I mentioned to my soldiers at a young age, because I had the wisdom of some older individuals pounded into me, was I will always listen to what my soldiers have to say. Might not always follow their ideas because, you know, maybe I do know what I'm talking about, but I'll always give them the opportunity to present ideas.
Yeah.
And then when it comes down to, you know, getting down to the facts of what happened, what's going on, what's this, what's that, keep an open mind, be quiet and listen.
Yeah.
And then, of course, time is relative. Time is absolutely relative. The time that you spend at your computer may feel like it's going fast, but it's your whole day. Get up and spend some of that time away from your computer with your leaders, and then break out and spend the time with your family too.
Back. Say that again.
Yes, spend time with family, not just at SFRG events either. Go home.
Look, and I'll say this, man. You know, there is a very fine balance that, you know, you have to figure where that's at, right? Because there's some jobs that we have, and it's just you're gone and you're back, and you're gone and you're back, and you have to really figure that out. And I would say shout out to the Jewel Junkie, man, because when I was out at she said shout out to the SFRG leaders worldwide. Yeah, facts, man. Shout out to all of those guys. But we were in you know, I was on the trail. And I got up before the sun came up, and I went home after it was going down. My kids was probably sleeping. But the thing that my wife did, old Jewel Junkie, what she did was, if I had an event, they were at the event. If I was on staff duty, her and the kids would come down and bring food, and we would have lunch in the, you know, in our little Hua Bay or wherever it was where, you know, my platoon sergeants and drill sergeants would be at. And so, you know, it was one of those things where you have to find out how do you make that time? how do you get that time? And I think that's something that in the military we don't always preach that. I remember coming back. Shout out to Sergeant Major Anderson, Ronald Anderson. He's gonna be on the show, man. You know him?
No, I don't. I'm
He
definitely.
Yeah, you probably seen him been past cross paths. He was a medic too, and man, he would come back and we would come back out of this field from Whiskey Land. They getting ready to graduate, and I remember coming out of the field and finding out that these fools got me on staff duty, and I'm like, I just got back from bullets. But it's like, what do you do? What do you do? Okay, I'm gonna suck it up and I'm gonna do my thing. And I call and I'm like, hey, I got duty. And my wife is like, okay, well, we gotta, we make it happen, right? But she would come up, bring food, hang out as long as she can, because she still had to work the next day. So there's just a balance. But as leaders, what I did was I at least made sure that didn't happen to my soldiers. You know what I mean?
Yep, that's important.
I made sure it didn't happen to them. If I had to kick them out, be like, hey, look, my wife and kids, they'll come down here. They live out in Converse somewhere. Go home.
Yep.
We're short platoon sergeants. Go home. Take care of your family, and I'll see y'all later. And I think that we need more leaders that are more conscious of that and not so fearful of getting in trouble for being a leader.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm lucky enough to work with Lieutenant Colonel right now, the field hospital commander, who is all about that. The attitude is not that we advocate for the soldiers. It's not that we're empowering the soldiers to leave. It's that we are adamant about this idea of do work during work time, and that's great. But do family time during family time, and understand that if you don't, the Army will willingly take your time. Any institution will, but we're in the Army, so that's they'll take all the time that you'll give them.
Right. Yes, I love that. What's the one that it's an article, urgent versus important?
Yep.
I think that's a good one, right? Read it. Read it. If y'all haven't, it's urgent versus important. I don't remember I think it was an Air Force colonel, right?
Quite possibly. I don't actually recall. I've read it a couple of times and I've passed it out, and I continue to pass it out and talk about it during PPDs, but
me too, brother. So we're rounding it out, brother. Tell us in your words, what is a leader?
What is a leader? A leader is someone who understands and owns the job, not only the job that they have, but the entire job. A leader is someone who is the owner of the organization, the owner of the mission at every single level. A leader is someone who recognizes that pride should be taken in the work that they do, but personal pride shouldn't overcome anything that they're doing.
Yeah.
A leader is someone who takes care of their soldiers, takes care of their people, regardless of what branch you're in, or if you're a civilian. Yeah. Take care of your people and takes pride in building up other leaders. Understands that every single person everybody's got the potential. It's just whether or not they tap that potential. Right. Can be an outstanding leader if they are given the opportunity and given the right leadership and guidance.
I don't have to say anything else, man. You just Hey, look, McKinney said that reminds me of the time I had to kick him out of the office for family time. Look, he figured he have a family, so he didn't get family time. I was like, you better find your barracks family and take them jokers to the bowling alley or something. These soldiers following you. But you know what he would do? He would leave and wait for me to go get out of the office, and then he'll cycle back down there to go finish up. And I was like,
dedication.
Yeah, but then he would be like, they said, well, First Sergeant, you stay here late and get stuff done. I'm like, mind your business. Hey, you do what I told you to do. This is one of those times you do what I say, dude. Don't worry about what I'm doing because it's work. If me and the commander still here, trust and believe, we are working. I want to go home.
And remember, as junior developing leaders, that as you grow in rank and time and experience, you will sometimes have to spend that time.
Yes.
So don't take it upon yourself to give away what you don't have to until you do have to.
Thank you, man. Let me know when you get to where you teaching at, man, so I can come on sit in the back of your class.
Absolutely, I will.
I'll be your teacher's aide, man.
It's probably going to be like 7th grade or something.
It's all right. It's all right. I'll make them do push-ups. They ain't acting right.
Hey, my daughter's actually pretty good at push-ups for just that reason.
Are y'all still rock climbing?
Oh yeah, and as a matter of fact, I'm gonna drop things tomorrow. My forearms are just absolutely poked. We spent about 3 hours in the gym this morning.
Oh, bro, what
she's insane. She's so good at this.
She's probably way faster than you now, huh?
Oh yeah. 40-foot wall, and his 9-year-old beats me up. It's insane.
Hey, look, you setting a good example, brother. You setting a good example.
Trying.
All right. If you could have one superpower, what would it be and why?
Oh. Well, there's the selfish one of the 41-year-old with a bad shoulder, bad knees, bad back that says, I'd really like that healing factor. Yeah. That would be nice. But then there's the one real true superpower, which would be that controlling time, or at least being able to pause time.
Yes.
I took it very personally. I remember a report card that I had that said does not manage time well in high school, and that still sticks with me. I can see it written on the report card, and I thought, no, I am going to do better at this. I still struggle at it because, everything's important. So you got to figure out what's more important.
Right.
But having the time, even just to sit down and prioritize and learning to carve out time during the day, setting alarms, which I've probably got 50 alarms throughout the day to remind me, do this, don't forget this. And then you stop and you set that time aside because everything gets so crazy. You've got to do those things. I take 15 minutes and read every morning, whether I like it or not. Yeah. You've got to prioritize and look through these things and those things and these things and prepare. That's a superpower we can develop, but it would be a lot easier if I could just hit a stopwatch.
Yeah, bro. I like that one. That's not one that I hear a lot. So that's a good one. Okay, who is your favorite superhero?
My favorite superhero, Captain America.
Captain America.
I had a little plastic figure, little rubbery plastic figure of Captain America, back when it was like basically the motorcycle helmet looking thing, and corny as heck. But I still, to this day, and I have for my whole life, asked, what would Captain America do when I'm trying to guilt myself into doing something? Like you walk past a piece of trash and it just sticks in the back of my head. Nope, turn around, pick it up, because Captain America wouldn't walk past it.
Captain America pick it up.
You start to get upset about something. You're like, well, nope, Captain America wouldn't lose his cool, and it's unrealistic because that's a comic book superhero who can't do any wrong, but still favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I think you shared that with us before. What would Captain America do? You have shared that. All right, so we're gonna let you stand on your soapbox real quick and do a shameless plug for 3 leaders that have been influential in your life, man. Whether it's family, famous historians. I mean, who you got?
2 famous. 1, again, not so famous. Theodore Roosevelt, famous. After one of his names. Yeah. It's my middle names. Overcame huge obstacles in his life. Was an unhealthy child. Yeah. One of the most inspiring things about Theodore Roosevelt, in my opinion, was that he cultivated fearlessness. He said, "This is hard. I'm going to do it. This is dangerous. I'm going to do it. This is scary. I'm going to do it." And he never, also throughout, at least his recorded life, never forgot about the little guy. And we have all been, and some of us will even go back to being the little guy. Yeah. So we have to understand that the bottom rung of every ladder is just as important as the top. Exactly. And I believe that from everything that I've read of Theodore Roosevelt, he did that. So that's a very influential individual in my life. And the other one that is famous is Colin Powell.
Colin Powell, that's my man. Come on.
Amazing,
Yes.
amazing. I know some senior officers who worked directly with him, and they just never run out of quotes. Well, as the general would say, and then you're on for 15, 20 minutes. The wisdom that came out of that man was amazing.
Yeah.
Two of my favorite quotes: "There are no secrets to success. It's the result of preparation, work, and learning from failure." Recognizing failure is not a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing. So many people are afraid of failure.
Thank
But
you.
yeah, don't be afraid to fail. If you're afraid to fail, you're afraid to try.
Bro, tell them we have to create an environment where it's okay to fail.
Absolutely. And then, my other favorite quote from him is, "Get mad, then get over it."
I like
You,
it.
I remember as a young sergeant, buck sergeant, my platoon sergeant looked at me and he said, "I never have to ask where I stand with you," because I would, in a safe space, in a respectful manner, let people know exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And then when I left that platoon sergeant's office, I didn't, most of the time, allow that bias, that anger, that whatever it was that I was feeling about it, stop me from doing whatever that mission was. You don't color your mission to your soldiers, your instructions to your people, with your bias, with your opinion, or you're just asking for failure.
Exactly.
And then my third hero would be my grandfather, again, Theodore Reininger. So, sure. In
Good
one.
stuff, man.
Humble, just an amazingly humble individual. He served in World War II. He was a teacher for 30 years, high school teacher. An amazing father and grandfather. He was a farmer, taught me everything that I could possibly cram in my head about working and work ethic and, doing something, finding something to do, not just being a bump on a log. That's why I'm always busy. That's why I've always got to do something. But he also taught me that there is a time to just sit and be still. And people don't know how to do that now very well.
Right. That's facts. Look, Jill Junkie says, "I love it. That's a joyful heart, Captain America."
Yep.
Yes, I love it. You gave us a couple quotes, man. What's a quote you live by?
Quote I live by, a quote that I continually remind myself to try to live by, is "Listen twice, speak."
I just heard that.
It's a good one, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It reminds me of the good carpenters. They measure twice and cut once.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Listen. Yes.
Listen to hear. Make sure you've got all the words. Make sure you got the tone. Make sure you got where everything else is coming from.
Yeah.
And then listen to understand. Put it in perspective. Put it in context. And then say what you have to say. It's like they say, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason.
Absolutely. That's what I think. I was trying to remember where I heard it from. It was like be quick to listen and slow to speak.
Yep.
Yeah. I love it, bro. You're at the lightning round. You ready?
Yep.
All right. We opened up your musical playing device, whether you still have a Walkman or a Discman or a record player.
Record. She loves that thing.
Hey, if you got it, I'm envious. What are the 3 most played songs?
3 most played songs. I don't have 3 most played songs, but
Okay.
you will find anything from Rush, probably Working Man, anything from the Foo Fighters, and anything from Weezer.
Okay.
Those are my 3 go-tos.
Okay. That's your motivation. That's what I'm talking about. Where do you go to for inspiration?
Inspiration. For leadership, I have a book that I have put more red ink into than I believe there's black ink printed on the page, and it is The Leadership Secrets of Attila the Hun. Book, different perspective of Attila the Hun, how he did what he did, why he did what he did, and the perspective is the lessons that are taught are as though you were sitting around a campfire with Attila the Hun, and you're one of his, and he's imparting knowledge to you. Easy to understand, and it's got a lesson for just about everything.
That's good stuff, bro.
And of course, running and biking. Anytime I'm in nature doing something, it's clear your mind. And once you stop thinking about 1,001 things, you find what it is you're supposed to be thinking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Your favorite duty station?
Favorite duty station has to be the duty station that I'm at. I loved Fort Drum. Everybody hated Fort Drum. I stayed there for 8 years. Loved the heck out of it. Loved Baumholder. I heard so many people complain about Baumholder. I loved that place. And Fort Carson, Colorado has been amazing.
Yeah, that's good. I like
it. I did leave off BAMC there, and I met my wife there, so good did come out of that one.
Okay, that's the right answer. It's the place there that I am, plus all these other places. Cause I mean, it is. It's my favorite places where I am.
Yep.
And I don't lose any love for that place when I leave.
Nope.
All right, what's your favorite food?
Favorite food? Cheeseburgers.
Cheeseburgers? What's your favorite group?
Favorite group as in musical group?
Music, if you dance, anything.
It's a toss-up between Queen and Rush.
Queen and Rush? Okay.
I don't listen to Queen enough. I should.
What about your favorite artist?
Either Dave Grohl, the drummer for Nirvana, and the everything for Foo Fighters. If you don't know the story behind the first album of the Foo Fighters, you should look it up. Dave Grohl did everything in that band.
Really?
He was the drummer, he was the guitarist, he was the singer. He did everything for that. And then after that, he went and found bandmates.
So he layered it. He played everything through, and then he went back and replayed it with a different instrument. Oh my God.
Was his cathartic recovery from Nirvana when Bane left,
Yeah.
And the toss up there, Dave Grohl and Jack Black from Tenacious D.
Yeah.
It gets a little raunchy, but oh my God, does that man have talent?
Yeah. Okay. Who's your favorite player?
I don't watch enough sports to really have one.
Okay, that's fair. You have a favorite team?
Favorite team's got to be the Buffalo Bills.
The Bills. I thought they was gonna do something last year, man.
Oh, I thought they were gonna do something this year.
I was. No, that's what I meant. This year. This
2
last
years
season.
in a row, they got so close.
So close, man. I'm like, it's too reminiscent of when they went 3 years in a row and just.
4 years in a row.
4 years in a row.
Great.
Yes.
And all 4.
So crazy, man. So crazy.
Yep.
All right, bro. What's your favorite cartoon?
Favorite cartoon? Oh, I'm drawing a blank. Samurai Jack.
Samurai Jack? I remember Samurai Jack.
I love Samurai Jack. Samurai Jack is like Captain America, but a samurai.
Yeah. So,
awesome.
We talking about Samurai Jack and Captain America, Marvel or DC?
Marvel. They're just so much more entertaining.
Yeah, DC got, they picked it up a little bit.
They're pulling some great stuff out. I'm looking forward to, the Snyder Cut was amazing. I watched that 2 days in a row. I was like, first came out, yes, thank you. And then the next day I was like, I gotta see this again.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it made me mad because they said that they're not gonna finish the mindset behind it. I'm like, are you serious? Why would you bring it out?
I know. I don't know.
All right, what's your favorite vacation spot?
Favorite vacation, Ireland.
Ireland.
Hands down, Ireland. I want to retire in Ireland. It's a beautiful, beautiful place.
Yeah.
It's a little cold and rainy, and they don't have German beer, but Guinness is good.
Hey man, we import, man. You can have it. Somebody send it to you.
That's true. Or just jump on Ryanair for like $30.
Right, and bring it back, a case or 2, right?
Right.
All right, bro. You made it through the whole show, man.
Woo!
Boom. So this is the opportunity, your opportunity. Shameless plugs. Anything you want to put out there for people? Shout out anybody. We shout out Joseph. What's going on, Joe?
My shameless plug is for the book that I am reading right now, not Extreme Ownership, but Ego is the Enemy.
Ego is the Enemy. Who is that?
If oh shoot, nope, hold on, I'm gonna have to look that one up. I don't know who the author is. But it is about exactly what you think it is about. It's about teaching yourself not to be so closely tied to what it is that you're doing. Don't tie your own ego into what it is that you're doing. One of the reasons that we have such horribly heated arguments is because you won't even, and I don't mean you, of course, won't even think about seeing someone else's perspective because you're so tied to your own perspective. It's a short book. It's an easy read.
Yeah.
And it's not immediately pulling up the author. Are you kidding me? Ryan Holiday.
Ryan Holiday. Ego is the Enemy. I'm gonna have to look that one up.
He's written a few other books, and I believe he actually does the. He wrote the Daily Stoic, which is a wonderful 5, 10, 15-minute read every single day. Good, Stoic ideas. That separation of self from emotion, being logical, not having emotions. Like the Hollywood version of Stoicism is just the person who watches his family die in front of him and says, it's all right. I'm a real man. I don't have to have emotions about this. But keeping things in perspective.
Right. Okay. Yeah, man. I'm gonna have to check it out. That's good. Ego is the Enemy. All right. Well, look, man. It's Friday night. I just got paid.
Yeah.
I did not just get paid, but
Yeah.
you know the song.
I did.
Look, man, I really appreciate you taking time. Y'all don't understand how busy this young man is. Y'all just don't understand. He is moving. He was gonna do the show while they were out on mission, which I really appreciate. But he was out in one of my sites, McCoy, and if Verizon ever wanted to do a commercial where do you hear me now? And they didn't hear you. It would have been at McCoy.
McCoy. Yep.
I used to think my soldier was lying, man. Like, come on, man. Really, you didn't get any messages? And I went out there. It was the what is it called? The dead zone? Dead zone.
Yep.
So, yeah. He's a great show, Dad and Sergeant Major Johnson. Hey, man, I appreciate you coming out, Duke Ellington, Mr. McKinney. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, man, brother, I really appreciate you taking time, sitting down with us. And I had no doubt that you was going to bring it, right? That's why I just let you keep going. You said, I'm taking over the whole show. No. I already knew where we were going, and you did not fail. So thank you.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. I always love talking to you.
Yes, sir. And the next one we have is gonna be a combo. I'm gonna have you and Joseph.
Not better. 3-hour show then.
Hey, bro. Hey, look, I'm short tonight, so I'm working on my time. But look, when I get all of us together, it's there's no time. So if y'all better bring your popcorn because it's gonna be fireworks, right?
Absolutely, we'll bring great stuff to it.
Yes. So have a good weekend. I love you and thank you so much.
Love you too, brother.
All right.
Call me anytime.
I will. Take it easy.
All right.
All right, y'all. Y'all know what it is. It's Friday. Don't do nothing stupid. Go out and have a good time. And, oh, yeah, real quick, man, the points came out. I want to send a shout out to Inspector Nacho, a.k.a. Corporal Mustache, soon to be Sergeant Mustache. That joker made points, man. That's what I'm talking about. If I had my little thing with the noise on it, I'll give him an applause, man. So, look, y'all keep doing great things out there. If you haven't made it yet, don't give up. Keep pressing, man. I promise if you're doing the right thing, it's going to come to you when it's time. On that, be safe. And that is the show. Come back. Stop playing games. Come back. Bring a friend. I got to get my numbers up. Inspector Nacho.
different you're on. Is it real?